Fashion touch with Western flair. From boots to hats, belts to shirts to jeans, and a lot more. For the smallest of the largest in family. Open Tuesday through Thursday 9 to 5, Friday and Saturday 9. Next to Billboard Kia, 15th Street, Panama City, where God is good all the time.
Looking for the most romantic night out in Panama City? Ferrucci Ristorante is your destination for authentic Italian cuisine and unforgettable moments. The candlelight, the wine, the homemade pasta. It's like a little slice of Italy. From handcrafted sauces to centuries-old recipes, Ferrucci brings true Italian flavor to every plate. It's where love stories begin and anniversaries are celebrated. To reserve your table, call 850-913-9131. Ferrucci Ristorante, Panama City's most romantic escape.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe, ESPN Northwest Florida.
The locals love it.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Stand by. On my mark.
You survived the workday. Now survive the truth.
Don't you want to have the best 12 teams in college football playing each other?
It's time for the hardest hitting 2 hours on the Panhandle.
I love it. You're coming through. You got it, baby.
Now into the huddle with Paul Wilson on the Sports Blitz.
It is a joyous day. I love your show.
From the Emerald Coast to the edge of the atmosphere.
You gentlemen lift us up every day.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
What it do, people? It's the homie Lil Cash. Right now you tuned in with Paul Wilson on the Sports Blitz. 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida. The hottest sports show in the South. Let's go. Cause Lil Cash with another hit with Paul Wilson on the Sports Blitz. Where they talk trash and they talk ish. When it comes to sports, man, they too legit. It's 104.3 ESPN. If you love sports, better chime in. NFL, college, local sports, they got it. NBA, they got it. Sports Blitz, the topic. The show hottest wasabi. Better tune in and go watch it. Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson. If you even tried, you can't stop it. Bone Crusher gon' pop it. No Jeff gon' pop it. Go like, comment, subscribe, and share. Right now.
We are live and local right here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. It's a Monday, baby, and we are pumped up about it. Don't forget tonight. That's right. You heard it right here. Tonight, the Atlanta Braves and the Oakland A's right here at 6 o'clock. All you Braves fans, I know you're excited about Atlanta Braves baseball coming back, and we are too. So don't forget, right after the show, we will be having the Braves hoping to stay in the win column. So either way, so glad to have everybody here. Don't forget, if you want to call in and be a part of the show, you can be 850-215-6290, the Red 70s phone line. Red 70s, your spot for all things custom apparel right here in the Panhandle. As always, on a Monday, got Brian Haddad in the building. Brian, how you doing today, my friend?
Doing well. I do need to ask a question.
Yeah.
I know we have ton of great sponsors on this network here, but I need to know, do any of them sell brooms?
I
because
don't know.
we swept the Rebels in Oxford this weekend.
I know.
The Egg Bowl of baseball goes 3-0 to the Bulldogs. That's why I'm rocking the Natty shirt today.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask you. How does it feel to know that you are the king in your state in baseball? Because that's exactly what that sweep meant this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, we split with Southern. They won one early. We gave them a little charity game, you know.
Yeah, they kind of count, but sometimes
no,
they really
they're
don't.
good.
I know they're good, but I'm saying sometimes we just don't count them.
Southern Miss.
Oh, Southern Miss. Okay.
But no, State's looking. I still think Texas is probably the best team in the country right now, but State's making a case. I mean,
they are.
They look pretty good.
And the thing is like it's so early, but you can also already kind of see who's separating themselves in baseball.
And I didn't think it would turn around this quickly, but hey, Just hope it continues.
You're not kidding. And as always, on a Monday, we got Jeffrey in the building, our local accountant, trying to get all these numbers from all the brackets, all the busted brackets that are going on. How you doing today, Jeffro?
I'm doing really good, but I really didn't enjoy that Duke loss. I do not like UConn. I'm sorry.
That's all right. We'll talk
Call
about
me
it.
a hater.
I know, we will. Well, at least you're not talking about the Gators, hating on the Gators, you're Gator hater. But either way, we got Bone Crusher in the building. Bone Crusher, how you doing on this beautiful Monday?
Here's the plan. I know it's Monday. Everyone's watching the clock, ready to bust out the door. Let's plow forward and finish this day strong, son.
I know. It's so like Bone Crusher should like get paid to be a motivational speaker for Mondays,
Right?
because that's exactly what he does, and he pushes everybody to go through. You know what? You know what else needs to be pushed? The ESPN Northwest Florida app for a chance to win a $25 Ferrucci's Restaurante gift card in Panama City. Just smash the contest button to win the amazing Italian cuisine from Ferrucci's right here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We are so excited about all the things that's been going on, and obviously the bracket, March Madness in full effect. It's all over the table in front of Jeffrey. I've got the numbers over here as well. It's just a crazy time to be for college basketball. And just a program note for tomorrow, I've got an exciting interview that was done today, and we will have that for everyone tomorrow at 5 o'clock with Coach John Summerall of the Florida Gators, the head football coach. It was a great opportunity to talk to him and to talk about a lot of things Gator football. So all Gators need to be listening tomorrow for sure.
Before we get into these brackets, can I just say I would like to think that last week I was pretty good on Hannah Hidalgo. I told you how good she was. She had a big game. But when it came to the men's, I just started picking. I didn't throw in a bracket early, right? I missed that. So I started picking at the Sweet 16, which you would expect would be easier. Mm-hmm. I showed every one of you why I didn't do a bracket in the first place.
You're right.
Yeah, Sweet 16, true. I lost 3 of my Final Four teams. I lost my national champion.
Yes,
yeah,
I remember.
I don't do this for a reason.
Yeah, and a lot of people did too. I mean, when you look at how crazy the East and the South were this year, I mean, yeah, you got a 1 coming out of Michigan, you got a 1 coming out of Arizona, but when you look at the East and the South, it's crazy one.
1, 1, 2, 3 is not that different from what it usually is.
Right.
I mean, it's usually 1 or 2, or it's usually 2 or 3 ones, but then like a 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 4, something like that is pretty much dead on. But yeah, we got there in a weird way. We had a 3-9, we had a 1-6. The only true chalk, I guess, was the 1-2 we had in UConn and Duke, and that one seemed. That was very close to a St. John's Michigan State game.
Not Purdue. Purdue was a 2.
That's right. That
was a 1-2
That's right.
also.
That was a 1-2 as well. But
we just thought maybe it was one of the weaker 2s, maybe?
I agree.
Yeah.
And look, I didn't believe in them all year, and they got all the way there, so congrats to them. But, Big Ten flexed again.
They did flex, and that's a problem.
No, we just need to say wait till baseball.
But I keep worrying about that, and I know we got some good baseball. We're not definitely gonna be.
Well, there ain't nobody in the Big Ten gonna flex on some baseball, other than UCLA, but they don't count.
No, they're
in
West
California.
Coast. They're West.
They're Big Ten.
Yeah, they're Big
Ten
West.
Now they're very
edition.
good, but
yeah, they are.
They don't count.
I hate having to do that because it's just like, gosh, I'm sitting there watching it, and you're thinking, okay, Tennessee is our only shot, and it's like, gosh, I hate that orange. It looks so terrible. It looks horrible. All these fans, and just some of their fans, they're just like, they're throwing up their jerseys, and I'm just like, I want you to win because you're an SEC, but when you do that, I don't want you to win.
We've kind of talked around this a little bit. We talked about the differences in college basketball now with, Cinderellas and the way the teams are changing over. And I was thinking about this because Duke blew a huge lead. We had a lot of blown big leads in this tournament.
Yeah.
And, I know it's exciting. It makes for a fun story, but I kind of hate it because it just shows, like, maybe how poorly teams are organized together or whatever like that. You should never, at this level, blow a 20-point lead.
No.
You just shouldn't.
Not with seasoned players, not with
but again,
coaching staff.
They're all freshmen on Duke.
They're all freshmen. They're all transfers.
Every game,
seasoned.
Every game that Duke plays is somebody's Final Four.
Yeah.
So Yeah.
They're not seasoned. They barely got to college, man. They're one semester in.
No, those guys, they played more basketball than they went to school.
Well, yeah, back in the
together as like, practicing and all that. And every time they play, and every time they're in the spotlight.
I don't know. Maybe it's just coincidence. Maybe, I mean, look, blown leads are not new this year. It just seems like in big games there's more of them. Like you don't see teams of the caliber blowing 19, 20-point leads the way we did in this tournament. So maybe it was a fluke. I don't know. It just might have something to do with, the fact of, these teams are brand new, put together every year. Whereas, in the past we would see, more teams at least 2 or 3 years maybe. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. It was one of those interesting thoughts I had. I mean, kudos to UConn. What a finish.
Yeah, that's
I
great.
know, Jeff. I know. But what a finish. Well, very exciting.
0 stars out of 10.
I wouldn't say it was the greatest game in the world, but it was a great finish.
I loved it. Yeah. Because of the way that they never seemingly gave up, but they also, the guys that they wanted to get open to shoot, even though they were cold, they kept calling the plays to get them open to shoot. That's what's crazy.
The one good thing Duke did really, and this was good coaching, was they let them kind of whittle their way down and then fouled them with 10 seconds left up 4. Mm-hmm. Like that was smart. Because then you reduce the risk of really bad things. It just worked out to where with the inbound, maybe you should have taken – I understand the notion of trying to get onto it quick and this, that, or the other, but the guy trying to throw that pass over the double team like that, just hold on the ball, take the foul, go to the line, and do what you can. But, I mean, it's easy. That's what pressure does. It makes you make mistakes where you don't think, and it was unfortunate, but then, the guy had to drill a 30-footer.
Yeah.
And he did. It just, you kind of hate seeing something like that. Like, I would rather see him go down, make his 2 free throw, whatever like that, and then you ice the game. That'd be nice. Or make one, and then they come down and tie it. But when you make that big a mistake and your team goes home over it, God, it's rough.
And that part being a freshman kind of lends to what you're saying. But also, if you watch, though, the video of John Shire, he wanted the pass.
Oh, I believe it.
He was telling him to pass the ball.
Yeah.
He was not telling him to hold the ball. So that was a coaching mishap.
Yeah.
That, yes, they hit a 30-footer.
He was just in a bad spot trying to go over them.
Yeah.
Maybe you fake over, try and step through them and get – I mean, look, it's easy to hindsight. I wouldn't have been able to see,
right.
those guys like that. But it's just, it's tough. Like you said, you try and make a play. You had 2 guys down there.
Yeah.
I mean, the ball had to be tipped to end up where it did, and it just ended up that way. But, just for him, you kind of wish he'd sat there and taken the foul and gone to the
I just
line.
wonder what was said, because obviously they had an inbound play called, and you could tell by the way that they were throwing the ball in that they knew that UConn was going to try to trap.
Yeah.
But then it just seemed like, I mean, realistically, Shire, if he didn't say hold the ball till we get a foul after our second, third at most pass, then that's where the lapse in judgment by him came.
Well, you saw they almost ran a 2-1-2 offense like that, and the way they did it, they ran the 2 gunners down, and I understand that for trying to get the ball down in the other end of the court, because chances are it's going to get knocked around, the time's running out. If they get it out of bounds, they got to go the length of the court. It's not like the NBA where they can call the timeout and move up to half court, whatever. So I get the idea of it. I don't love one in the middle. I'd rather start one, get 2 out than another 2. But, it's...
And I'm curious to see,
it's
because
tough.
Having your people that secure the ball the best, now obviously throwing the ball into Boozer, him taking it over, knowing that the double team's coming, but him being able to get the ball back, which is what they did, and then now you moved your guy up that was in the middle to the side, and then he knew that he was coming with a trap, but you clearly on the film see the coach going...
Well, they had 2 guys down that weren't being
That's
covered.
right. I'm sure he wanted it down the court. And literally the only way that doesn't work is if it gets tipped.
Yeah.
And, it's hard because, again, if you take the time, which he didn't have to think, they had enough time to stay in their own end. Like, he could have thrown it back.
Yeah.
You didn't have to cross.
No.
Well, the problem is, why don't you fake up and then have them jump up,
Sure.
and then you jump up and throw it
Sure.
down court.
Yeah.
Again,
you have
pressure.
to have that thing, because if you go up the first time, they're going to block it. I mean, it's a little boozer.
Yeah. But that's what Nolan Richardson talked about with the 94 feet of hell and whatever he talked. He said pressure makes people make mistakes.
Yeah.
And that's why you press and trap and do things like that, and that's what happens.
And it seemed like, and I didn't hear where anyone asked a question to Hurley, but I'm not so sure that this was the whole plan regardless. Like, there wasn't an option. It looked like they were just going to try to get a tip or a steal. They were not going to foul unless they got it past half court. Half court was the line of foul.
See, I don't understand that, but in general, just because of the time.
Yeah, because there was only
they were. I liked what they did with trapping in the middle. I think they set that right, but they were a little out of position. Like it worked out because the ball was tipped, but the freshman, I'm blanking on his name, the kid who hit the shot. The kid who hit the shot.
Yeah.
He was a little out of position. He ended up being in perfect position because of the deflection. Did a good job of passing the ball off, then got it back and drained it. I mean, it was a heck of a finish, man.
And what he said, which was, I just thought it was kind of, because he's a freshman too.
Yeah.
The thing is that he said, I was passing the ball to our shooter.
Yeah.
He said, I was passing to him because I was going to let him win it or lose it for us because he's our shooter. And when he got doubled and they threw it back to me, he said, I just said, well, I'm just going to have to shoot it.
Time's running out.
And he was 0 of 13 before that shot from three-point line.
He was taking them from too close.
Yeah, so, I mean, he was definitely
He found his range.
But to see how the online, I mean, obviously the memes of John Shire's face is now everywhere.
Oh, it's in your algorithms, not mine.
It's everywhere.
God,
really?
Hurley's are funny.
Yeah,
that was a shock to him.
Yeah.
A guy who's coached that much basketball, it's always funny to see when they're just shocked by something.
Well, and his mom and dad were there.
Gosh, yeah.
And his mother, if you watch the video of his mom, I mean, she said some stuff that's not suitable for the radio, but she couldn't believe it. Like you watch her talk and you watch the dad, they're both there standing beside each other, and she's saying words that, can't be
she is a
permitted.
wife to a basketball coach and a mother of two basketball coaches. She's heard some stuff.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And she just lets it go like, oh, my gosh. Like, she could not believe it. Everybody else couldn't believe it. But I do think at the end of the day, it's easy to sit back in an armchair, but that's what we do. And I'm okay with it. But I think really I'm just curious to know what John Shire said, because this is another opportunity for him to have the best team, and he did not win.
And we all thought almost all of us thought,
yes,
Duke's going to the final game and probably going to lose.
Yeah, we thought they would lose, but in the championship.
Yes.
We thought for sure when Florida was gone.
You didn't think that?
And most.
With all the injuries they had coming into the tournament, I don't feel like this was a failure on their part the way I would have felt like a year ago. And I know Flagg wasn't 100% by the end either, but I felt like it was more of a failure. This year, I think it felt about right. They put themselves in position to go. Blowing the lead is the killer for them. But I would say going in, I didn't expect them to have the difficulty they'd have in the first round, but it did not shock me. Number one, with the bracket they were in. That was a brutal region. Yeah. And number two, just with the fact that so many different people had to stand in there. And then, look, it's great when you get guys back, but those guys haven't played in a couple of weeks. So, and you're having to come in at the tournament against great basketball teams. So I don't really view this as a failure per se. Maybe like the way I would have last year.
Yeah, Foster coming back, and he was so significant in the win against St. John's. And I know that we talk about it, but I'll tell you this, to me, and this might even blow some of your minds, but to watch how this UConn team has played all year long, and then to see the defeats that they've had and the big defeats that they've had, and to see them play against a team that was up so much against them, I have the utmost, and I know some people don't like his style or whatever, but Hurley, to me, that was one of the best coaching jobs that I've seen in a tournament. It was so Tom Izzo-ish that it makes me like just a big fan of his because of that. And I've never liked the guy. I've never liked his outburst. I've never liked the way he carried on and acted. I get it. All right. I'm not a big fan. The cockiness, the arrogance, some of the things that he's said, some of the things that he's involved in. But I will tell you this. I'm going to give credit where credit is due. Hurley's coaching in this game, to me, because the things that they did was so intentional of coming back that it was, you could clearly see that it was coming from the bench. He clearly was calling the plays. You know how sometimes you just kind of let the guys work into how you could tell this game when they were down in the second half specifically, that the calls that he was making and the way that they came back attributes all to his coaching, because he didn't have the best player on the floor. He didn't have the best shooters on the floor. He didn't have the most experienced team on the floor. He had better coaching. He out-coached John Shire in this game. You say, well, yeah, he hit a 30-foot shot. That's true. But 20 points down to be able to bring it back, and the way that they did it and the calls that he was making, because his shooters were dead cold. The other guy, I can't recall his name. I'll have to look him up on the break. But the other guy missing all of the shots, he just kept feeding him the ball until he got hot, until he made a shot. And then being able to see the weakness that he was having down low on Duke's big men in the defense, and the way that they were moving around and picking and allowing their guy to get the ball in the paint, and the way that they were crushing the basket. It was coaching and coaching alone that won that game for UConn.
Yeah, I mean, it reminded me, I'm old enough to remember it, the 1990. Everybody remembers Christian Laettner's shot against Kentucky.
Right.
A lot of people forget the shot against Connecticut a couple of years earlier.
Yep.
And Connecticut had advanced to that game by hitting a buzzer beater over Clemson.
Yep, that's
like
true.
It was, but so for UConn fans of a certain age, that was really sweet, because that denied UConn the opportunity to go to the Final Four in 1990. They had a great team. Tate George was on that team, and they were really good, and Calhoun was just starting to get them to be a perennial power. And Laettner, it was the first of what ended up being many. That was the year UNLV just trounced Duke in the championship game, but that was kind of the shot that just broke UConn hearts forever. So beating Duke on a shot like that would be sweet for UConn fans.
Yeah, I know. So either way, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to dive more into this. I've got another thing I want to share with these guys to see what they think about it. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here, 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Call or text us now on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. Atlanta Braves baseball is back.
Swing and a drive. That's hammered deep right. He jumped on one and hits a homer.
We're your exclusive radio home for the Atlanta Braves.
At the wall. It is gone. A grand slam for Acuna.
Hear every exciting home run, every strikeout, and every thrilling victory on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Anna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Monday. Partly sunny the rest of the day with a moderate breeze out of the south-southeast around 14 miles per hour and temps near 74. Tonight we will have partly cloudy skies and a wind speed of 7 miles per hour and be quite warm at 67. Partly sunny tomorrow and a high 75. Some clouds Wednesday with a temp of 75. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Are you living with chronic pain, anxiety, or sleepless nights? You don't have to just get by. You deserve to thrive. At Thrive Alternative Medicine on Panama City Beach Parkway, Dr. Laughlin and counselor Suzanne Clark provide a compassionate path to relief, from medical marijuana card certifications to professional mental health counseling, managing conditions like PTSD, chronic pain, and the complexities of cancer. Book online at thrivealternativemedicine.com. thrivealternativemedicine.com. Find the relief you deserve. deserve.
Are you ready for another historic season at the bank? It's time to lock in your seats for 2026 by placing your deposit now. Next season will be played at Everbank Stadium, but seating capacity is limited due to in-bowl renovations, and spots are going fast. Don't miss out on your chance to see the season's biggest matchups and highlight real moments by placing your deposit at jaguars.com/tickets or by calling 904-633-2000. Go Jags!
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida gets results. Here's Brandon Strickland from Recommended Collision Center, Jinx Avenue in Panama City.
At Recommended Collision Center, we're all about taking care of our community, and advertising on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida has helped us do just that. Social media ads were getting stale, but the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson gave us a fresh way to reach local customers. We've seen more vehicles coming in for estimates, more phone calls, and more people recognizing our name. It's been a great partnership for our business, pairing up with 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
To see how 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida can help grow your business, go to espnpc.com and click the contact button. Get your message heard and cut through the clutter. Go to espnpc.com and click the contact button.
Panama City, Lynn Haven, Callaway, 30A, Santa Rosa, Freeport, Mexico Beach, Port St. Joe, Youngstown, Blancstown, and Yorktown. The Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson.
The locals love it.
Dominating that dial at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. We are live and local right here at 104.3 ESPN, your spot. You got this right. Atlanta Braves baseball tonight against the Oakland A's, starting right after the show at 6 o'clock. We will be chopping right here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget, you can call in, you can text in on the Red 7Ts phone line, 850-215-6290. You know what? We give away a lot of prizes, and there's sometimes where I'm able to see and meet some of you that are listening and have called and won. And today, I got to meet Hurricane Bobby. He came in and got to see him, and he picked up his prizes, and just great to put a face with a voice. So it was great to meet him.
So he got the baseball cards.
Yes, he got the baseball cards.
Egg.
Yeah, the egg. We were able to open an egg online or live right here.
Yeah,
the
those are fun.
2026 update, I think 1 is what it was called, or something
Series
like that.
1.
Series 1.
Yep.
There we go. And the cool card that was in the spot was a Roman Anthony.
That's good.
Special one.
What are the eggs or the bunnies or whatever?
No, it had the stars in the background.
Okay.
So it ended up being a pretty good card, and pretty excited about that. But either way, we do that, and we're excited about that. And a way that you can win now is go in and download the ESPN Northwest Florida app for a chance to win a $25 Ferrucci's gift card. So that's exactly what you need to do. I was on a podcast the other day. I'd gotten invited to be on the Buddy Martin show, and one of the other guys had been here and had lived here, and he said my favorite restaurant was Ferrucci's to go to.
Yeah.
So there you go. So Ferrucci's
Very good.
Restaurante is a great spot. So go in. Download the ESPN Northwest Florida app for a chance to win that $25 gift card. You know, when we talk about these Duke Blue Devils and the Yukon corn, I call them corn huskers. But either way, because there's so much corn going on in this March Madness with all these Big Ten teams about to throw up.
And your jokes are corny.
I know. But still, when you look at it, you know, the guy that I was so impressed with for UConn was Terrace Reed, and just seeing him call for the ball, that was who I was talking about, that Hurley had the calls for him to go. The issue with UConn early on was that Caravan, which played 38 minutes, all right, he was 1 of 6 from the three-point line. He was 0 for 5 before the last 5 minutes. He's their best three-point shooter and had been for the whole year, but was 0 for 5. You know what? Hurley comes out of a timeout, after they had scored a couple of baskets, and he calls for the ball to go to Carabana again to shoot the three, and this time he hits it. And so that's what I'm talking about. Yes, Mullins hit the deep three. I get it. But if you look at it, these guys were not killing it. I mean, you had Terrence Reed leading them with 26 points. You only had Damari Jr. scoring 11. Ball scored 10. Mullins scored 10. Outside of that, there wasn't anybody else. Smith had 9. Rebby had 2. And then Caravan had 9. So it wasn't – he clearly changed the dynamics of the game by calling the plays. And so for me, that was it. But when you look at Boozer, I mean, he was dominant. Now, yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, I was going to say is with Hurley, obviously, you know your players, and by the end of the season, you have a pretty good understanding of your team. Whether or not they're seasoned veterans or anything, you have a pretty good understanding. I like the fact that he knows, look, my guy's struggling here, but he's still my go-to guy, and if I keep calling these things for him, he's going to. We always hear it in basketball. I know you heard it growing up. Shoot your way out of it.
Shoot out of it.
And that's kind of what happened. And the fact that he was showing him he had confidence in him.
Yeah.
Because you got to figure, he was probably a little bit ruffled by that early, and the fact that Hurley was calling that in key moments, I think, was big for them.
Yeah, and Duke led in every offensive category. I mean, they were 52% from the field. They were 40% from three-point range. They were 6 of 15. UConn was 5 of 23 from three-point range. If you would have told me UConn's going to be 5 of 23, I said, another 20-point loss for UConn, for sure, coming into that. So I'm just it's crazy.
Like 22.5%.
Yeah, 21.7. Yeah, so right at
that was what we were talking about a week ago when Florida lost. That's what we would have expected in a Florida loss. Like it would have had to have been horrendous shooting night, or they shot 65% from the field or something like that. That's why it was so weird with Iowa, who then went on to mess us all up again, because I think all of us had Nebraska beating them.
Yeah, no,
actually, did you not? Well,
I mean, it was a lucky catch. That's all it was. Because it could have gone either way. Nebraska could have won that game.
Look, as good as Illinois was in the second half, I think Iowa had a 4-point lead at the half.
They did. Yeah, they
were a tough ball team. That was a good job in the tournament.
Because he had mentioned on that game was Iowa just got this big win. And you I don't know what you call it. It's like the hangover from a big win and all that. Yeah. And usually you turn around and you lose, right?
Yeah, it's usually
I said, well, Nebraska had that against Vandy. We were kind of expecting Vandy to win that game.
Yeah.
So really they were both in that same position.
Sure.
When you look at the numbers going back to the Duke and UConn game, though, the story does kind of look at the defensive side of the ball, because Duke did have 13 turnovers, and UConn had 20 points off of those turnovers. Yeah. So there you go. That was how they came back. So the inexperience, like what you were saying, of the guard play of turning the ball over, and then just some of the turnovers that they had right there at the end. Another thing is that we talked about Caleb Foster coming back from the foot injury and being out. In that St. John's game, he was able to score the basketball. This game against UConn, he didn't score.
Yeah.
He played. He played about 14 to 15 minutes, but he didn't score. Hence, that's why the younger Boozer, or the smaller Boozer, I would just call him the little Boozer. That's why he had the ball instead of Foster, because Foster, in a perfect world, would have been the one to have it. Yeah. He's experienced, been here several times, already have played. I think he's a junior now. So that hurt him. But still, you got to.
And look, he could have had lingering effects, because when you come back off of an injury like that and you play, that big a game against St. John's, and then a day and a half later you got to go do it again. That can be tough. And maybe he didn't feel right.
I just wonder, with all of this, I'm gonna read you guys something, and I want obviously we know Duke, we know who they are. They're kind of the Alabama of basketball. They get some hate, or they could be considered the Ohio State, but they haven't won championships. Alabama's championships have been a lot longer than Ohio State. So I'm going to say Alabama and Duke they're the same when it comes to that. Now, since 2016, I want you to listen to these names. Duke has had Jason Tatum, Zion Williamson, Cooper Flagg, Paolo Banchero, Cam Boozer, R.J. Barrett, Cam Reddish, Con Knipple, Jared McClain, Derek Lively, Marvin Bagley, Wendell Carter Jr., Gary Trent Jr., Luke Kennard. In this since 2016, those are some of the stars that have been in college basketball. Now they're in the NBA. Most of these guys are. I think all of them except for Boozer. 0 championships. 0.
And you know what that is? That's not Alabama basketball. You know what that is? That's a Texas of basketball. Because Texas has had all the 5 stars in football and no championships in, 21 years now?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. They're the Texas of basketball.
So that realistically puts Duke in a place to where, yes, they're the Blue Bloods. Yes, they're the number 1 draft picks. Yes, they put people in the pros, but they're not winning championships yet. Not especially with this new guy.
There used to be a knock on Calipari that he won it very few times at Kentucky with all the talent he had there. And obviously everybody remembers the undefeated year where they went out to, I think, Wisconsin in the Final Four game. But, it's difficult. By the same token, you think about some of the big names that won the championships that really didn't pan out in the NBA. It's different. It's a team dynamic, and, it's sometimes you can have a team that's led by Mateen Cleaves, and you can have a team that's led by Emeka Okafor and guys like that who you thought were fantastic college. Sean May at North Carolina, guys who were fantastic college players, just really didn't transition over to the NBA as well. But they were great leaders amongst a great team with great coaching that just caught fire at the right time.
So is Duke – okay, UConn – Kentucky was the original one and done, right?
Yeah.
Just go to the pros after 1 year.
Yeah.
Now it's the demise of Duke. Duke is probably the one that's getting hurt the most by the one and dones.
Yeah. That's true. All of these names that I named, most of those guys, one and dones, one and dones, one and dones.
It's funny watching the evolution of it through time because Georgetown for years never had anyone leave early until Iverson.
Mm-hmm.
And then, it would start like that. In Duke, you would see more guys who would kind of stick around a couple of years, and now it's kind of filtering. Kentucky embraced the one and done, and Calipari did it better than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Then other people kind of caught up and this, that, and the other. It's interesting to watch different programs and how they do that. It's very rare you're going to see a Johnny Broome at Auburn or a Tyler Hansbrough at North Carolina. Someone who's there 4 years, is a great player, is an All-American, but is never going to transition to the NBA very well. You're just not going to see that. Duke used to have him with guys, and I know he's in the league, but like Grayson Allen.
Yeah.
He was kind of in that same kind of mode, that and kicking people between the legs. But
that didn't help.
But, it was just one of those things that it is interesting to watch kind of the way that shifts. I don't know if they're being hurt worse by it. They just haven't found the magic in a year for all the talent that they have to put it together and win the championship. It's weird.
You don't think that these guys stay around for a whole nother year? Both Boozer brothers and everybody stays around for another year, that they're not in a championship game next year?
No, I get it, because they have more talent, and so you would think if you keep them together, the opportunities are higher. But I would think that about everybody. Now, what I'm saying is I don't know if it's just specifically they're getting hurt worse by it. I think because they have so much talent, it just is on our radar. And look, it's Duke.
It's Duke.
So they're going to be under the microscope more. I hate saying positive things about Duke. I grew up a Carolina fan. It's hard for me. But it's one of those deals where I think they've still done a good job. Just for whatever reason, they haven't gotten across the finish line. And this is a game that's measured by championships.
And I'll tell you this, when you say what you just said,
the one and dones?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The brothers won't be playing together next year. That was one of the biggest things they talk about, because the bigger brother, he's going to the pros. He's not staying. He's not going to stay another year at Duke unless something crazy happens. But I will say this. I will tell you this. He needs to. His game will not translate to the next level. Shooting layups in the NBA as a 6'8", 6'9", power forward, those days are long gone. You got to be able to shoot threes. You got to be able to take people off the dribble. You got to be able to dunk. That's the thing. That what you said, he is not any better than Broome from last year from Auburn. He's not any better than him. He might be a little bit more athletic, but he's not any better than him.
He's more talented. He's not as good a developed player.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. That's right. As far as him coming out as a freshman compared to him coming out last year from Auburn as a senior, and his game has not translated. Exactly what you said. They're better. There's some players. Tyler Hansbrough is a definite one of them. Sheldon Williams from the Duke teams. Those guys are better, good college basketball players, and their games are not going to translate. Now, the money, he'll make the money because he'll be a top 10 pick. Somebody's going to take him, but he's not a game changer. Giannis will dominate Boozer. Kevin Durant will pull him out and shoot right over the top of him or take him and dunk on him. He's not quick enough to guard a guard, so he's going to be – I think he's going to be on skates if he goes to the NBA.
But let's be honest. Kobe was not Kobe at 18. At age 21, 22, he was starting to get into where he could do different things, correct?
Kobe never played college.
He never
yeah,
went to
so that's
college.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
At 18, when he first got to pros, he was not – so it took him about 3-4 years till he really became Kobe. And then all the practice and the hard work and all that paid off. This kid could develop into being a Tim Duncan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
He's not even close to 7 foot.
He's only 19
He's
years old.
6'9". He's
doesn't-
6'9".
6'9",
That's not
you act
big.
like I'm 6'3". He's 6 inches taller than me. It
Who
doesn't
cares?
matter.
Not in the NBA.
Oh, man.
You're
I'm
crazy.
telling you, if he works hard at it, he's only 19 right
I
now.
don't care if he's
This is
12.
nothing. This is a child we're talking about. He has so much time to get better.
So where it's different
But he can't get bigger.
Rodman got bigger.
That's not
Rodman
true.
was like 23 years old till he really got tall.
Where it's different now is the way that they want to bring them into the NBA now. Back in the 80s and even into the early and mid-90s, they would have rather had a 22, 23-year-old who was more fully developed as a player because they really felt like that was going to help them from a maturity standpoint of adapting to the league.
Mm-hmm.
What they've kind of gone to now, the way it's gone, by taking them earlier, you're looking at it more as a business decision. You have 3 less years of wear on their body.
Yeah.
You have 3 more years of prime athletic ability for that contract that you're paying. So why not get them out there? And what the league has done, it's a little bit better in terms of developing players in the league. Like there was nothing for them to make a rookie sit.
Right.
In the old days. They're not doing that now because it's an investment league now, and they're wanting to get them out there and get them developing against that NBA talent. So they do bring them along slightly differently than they would have in the past. It has definitely affected. The college game is not near what it used to be, but that's not a knock on basketball. It's a knock on the fact that they are not going to be. In the 80s, those guys were there 4 years. You were watching NBA games in the Big East and in the ACC. They were just wearing college uniforms because these guys were there 4 years. It would be like watching Anthony Edwards I guess it would be 1 year from that. Let's say it'd be like watching Cade Cunningham and Jalen Green and all those guys right now playing college.
Yeah.
Those guys would be incredible because we've seen what they can do in the NBA. So it's just such a different game now, but yeah, I really didn't like the early run of the guys going straight out of high school or one and done because I didn't think the league was right for them in developing. I do think it's different now. They're set up that way.
Yeah, they're set up. We're going to go ahead and go to the Red 17's phone line. We got Big Nate on the line. Sorry, Big Nate, for taking so long. Jeffrey had to be dealt with. Go ahead, buddy.
Oh, it's okay to be long-winded. I've been there myself, so it's okay, it's your guys' show. I'm just a guest. So, the fact is this, I heard what you guys are talking about, and I personally don't think if a kid's coming out of high school and you've already given him the kind of like okay to go to the NBA, why aren't they using like a pony league for the NBA? Like maybe use the European leagues like they do so much to develop players and have these NBA teams sponsoring that player to play in those leagues to get the kind of like the world experience rather than having them go to school, and go to a team that may or may not win a championship or possibility of them getting hurt where you're invested in them. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I come from the era where Sean Kemp out of high school started on the Sonics.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get it, but I just don't see the value. like you were talking with Duke, these guys are playing, 1 year, and then they're going to the NBA.
Yeah.
Well, what's the difference of just coming out of high school and going and playing like a league for a year or two until you're seasoned enough to make the NBA team?
Well, some of those guys do go to their G League, which is what they use as their farm club team. But the G League has turned into a bunch of older guys that seemingly don't run the same plays as their actual NBA team. And they're, you got a guy like Mac McClung scoring 59 points in a game. And, it's just a one-on-one thing and seeing whether or not you can make a 10-day contract and then possibly get in the game and look like you're going to be a help, or maybe if somebody goes down. But to the fact of these guys is exactly what Brian's saying. Now they're going in, and even though they may not be a star right now, they're throwing them into the pot for the first 2 years, and by that third year, they're going to know whether or not their investment was good, and by that time, they either put them on the trade block or they're shot off to the G League, and then that's where they lose them.
I'll tell you, though, I think Nate's on to something in that it would be very similar to the European model that they do in basketball, but also in soccer. Where they get them in academies and they bring them up like that. Now, our ethos in America is very much the college, then professional, the draft versus signing players. So, I get in our mind that would be difficult to change around. Number two, the pros love it right now because the colleges are basically developmental leagues for them without them having to pay for it.
Yeah, true.
I'll be honest with you, most baseball teams now I think would prefer somebody going to a good college, a big Power 4 school like that, than have to run them through all of their minor league programs that they have to pay for.
Right. I mean, the minor league system is what it is. I mean, it's kind of more of tradition than actual need.
That's right.
Honestly. So, I mean, something's got to give. I mean, it's just crazy to me that this all goes down like that. But the question I had, I'll save that for tomorrow. We can talk about it tomorrow.
Perfect. Sounds good, man. We appreciate you calling as always, Nate.
Thanks, Paul.
Yes, sir. But again, when we look at how it goes, you're gonna see these guys that look the part, act the part, and they're I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna step out and say, if Boozer scores more points than his dad, I'll buy a Boozer jersey and wear it on the show.
The other thing you can't discount in this is why one and done exists. They don't care that they expose them to college or for any of that stuff. It is to protect the cash cow that is college basketball. They wanted to make sure that ship did not sink, because there was a worry when all the top players for a couple of 3 or 4 years were starting to go straight out of high school. And they wanted to make sure they gave some level of protection to the collegiate game because there was too much money involved in it.
And then you had some of them at that same time that they were going overseas to play in the European League because they were actually offering them $1 million.
Sure.
But now that we have the NIL and now more money is going to start coming into the college basketball, because it's a little bit behind football. It's going to come more, and you're going to start seeing more teams.
I'm not so sure it's behind football as much as people think. I think it's still shady.
Yeah, I think it's still, as far as the level of money, I think it's back. I think some people are doing it.
Heard a few stories.
Yeah, I think some people are doing it, but I don't think it's as broad as the football game. But either way, we're going to go ahead and take our next break. When we come back, we'll finish this up because Jeffrey still got me going crazy over Boozer. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here, 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
All right. So
Reach out and smack someone. Call or text now. 850-215-6290. The Red 17 Studio Line. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Your exclusive home for March Madness.
And it goes for the win!
We'll bring you every game live. It's the NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament, college basketball's premier event, and it's all right here.
And the dream is alive!
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
The dream, yes!
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Are you looking for a place to take a leak? Do you have a truck, tractor, or other hydraulic equipment leaking or not performing as it should? At Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, we can get you back to work. Do you have a busted or leaking hose? We can typically replace them while you wait. Hydraulic cylinder or pump needing repair? In many cases, we can have it back to you the next day. Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, 6840 Highway 77 in Southport, just south of Tractor Supply. The best place in town to take a leak.
ESPN Northwest Florida advertisers get results. Here's MaxFit Sports Nutrition owner Jason Kovaleski.
So if you're looking to advertise, or if you have a small business and you're looking to drive traffic to your store, check out ESPN 104.3 with Coach James Hale Show. I've been working with them for 7 years. They've driven a lot of traffic to my business. I get people all the time in my store that say, hey, I've heard you on the radio. It's one thing to advertise on the radio where people may hear it. It's another thing to be able to come on, talk to your customers directly. It's just one of the best form of advertisements I did, and I've gotten great returns off of it. So if you're looking for some form of advertisement to drive traffic, check out Coach Hale Show on ESPN. Contact Coach Hale, and he'll hook you up and get you started in the right direction and get you a lot more business.
Get results for your business. Call ESPN Northwest Florida, 850-215-4468. 850-215-4468.
Now back to the Sports Blitz on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here.
Sorry.
104.3 ESPN
Louisiana politics.
Northwest Florida, your spot for all things Atlanta Braves baseball. Right after the show tonight, you will have right here for the first time the Oakland A's on the top.
Who? The Athletics of nowhere? Ain't no Oakland A's anymore.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
The Athletics of nowhere.
Athletics of we don't know. Question mark. But I
Philadelphia.
tell you what, let's
to be on the
go
Vegas Strip.
Bravos.
Yeah, let's go
win
Bravos.
this one. But either way, let's look at a little bit more in depth into this game. When you look at the Duke coaching, when you look at all of the things that people are talking about online with the way that it went, it surprised a lot of people. Everybody had Duke and Florida coming out of that for the most part. That was where the 25 million brackets were busted when Florida lost. That was the biggest case. Do you think that with the way that Duke played Siena at the beginning of the tournament, that kind of pushed people to think, oh, no, I made a bad decision on picking Duke, that eventually their luck would run out? Or do you believe that it was just UConn just was destined to get to that championship or the Final Four?
No, it's game by game, and you can't just pin it on the first round, because look what Florida did to Prairie View A&M and then turn around and lose to Iowa.
I said it.
And these brackets that were local brackets right here.
Yeah.
I want you to name, after Florida, obviously, Florida was overwhelmingly the number one team for people to pick to win it all. Who do you think was number two?
Well, because we had talked about it, I kind of already know.
No.
Michigan.
No, it's wrong. That was number three.
It was Arizona?
It was Duke.
Yeah.
Duke was
Believe
two?
it or not, I was like Duke. And these people, I'm not saying they fell down, but they kind of did. All the people who picked Duke kind of fell down towards the bottom because their other picks were not very, they didn't have foundation, right? And then, as soon as Florida lost, all those people who picked Florida, they started inching their way down because every round they had already been eliminated, and they fell down. And then the one guy that picked Illinois, we thought, oh, this guy picked Illinois. He's not going to hang out, and guess what he's doing?
Yeah,
he's going to
right
win
there.
The whole thing.
He's sitting right there.
He is.
Has a chance.
See, I said it a week ago. I think Duke having the scare they had in the first round was the best thing for Duke.
Yeah.
Because I think some people had to step up right away. If they had gotten that kind of scare against a more seasoned opponent, I don't know if they'd have had the wherewithal to knock them out. I think the guys having to step up early was good for them. they just kind of ran out at the wrong time there, and UConn did a wonderful job of clawing their way back and not giving up, because a lot of teams down 15 at the half would just packed it in.
Let me ask y'all a question. We've talked about this, just a little bit earlier, but if in 5 years they do not raise a banner for Duke,
that coach is gone.
Is he gone?
Oh, absolutely. 5 years?
5 years, yes.
Within 5 years?
Maybe 4.
Might even been 3, yeah.
I don't know about 3, but definitely 4.
I don't know. When you've had teams this good 2 years in a row.
Mm-hmm. And just win the ACC like they have been 2 years in a row. And then you look at their exits in the tournament, it's awful.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's the part that, again,
like 4 or 5 years in a row, it's awful.
Again, the Blue Bloods have a different standard than most of the other teams. Usually the standard for a basketball coach is if you make the tournament.
Yep.
Duke's is if you win a championship.
I think they like, at Duke, their mindset, I think they like that Shire's a guy who came up in their program and the way it happened. I don't think they were bothered that they didn't go out and get a name, because if you think about it, I think Krzyzewski got hired there in either 80 or 82. It was like one of those. And, they really haven't had to go through a coaching search since 1980 or whatever it was like that. I think they like the fact. So I think he's going to get a little more time, and I think they think he's good. But, yes, at some point he's going to have to deliver. Or if he gets to the championship game and they just get ruined by circumstances out of his control, just a horrendously bad call, might buy him a year or two. But I'm saying 3 years. I think he needs to raise a banner in 3 years.
Let me throw a name in that's bigger as far as being a program guy. Mark Pope at Kentucky. If he doesn't win in 2 years or 3 years, he could be gone too.
I think
and
they
he played there.
I know, but I think they want him to have a long run. But with Duke, I think Duke, because Calipari, they had so many years of making a long run, and that would always give them hope for the following year. Then they'd have an early exit, and they'd all want to fire him, but then they'd all stay with him. But Shire has not been good. We're going to go ahead and go to the Red 17's phone line. We got Robert on the line talking about Duke and them Blue Devils. Robert, how are you doing today, my man?
I ain't doing good. Oh, they choke, brother. They choke.
I know.
I mean, you got 20 seconds left on the clock. You're up by 3. You're up by 3 with 20 seconds left. Foul the boy, send me to the free throw line. If he even makes his free throws, you're still going to get a possession, and then you're going to go up 3. You go down the court to get 2 points. You're going to be up 3 more. Foul the boy. Shire, I don't know what he had a brain fart from where, but that was the worst coach game I've ever seen, and that's why Shire, he's not going to be a national champion. He'll be done next year, I promise you it, dude. Because we're not going to put up with it. That 20 seconds left, man. Fouling, you're up by 3. Fouling, send him to the free throw line. Let him get across the half court line. Fouling, man. Boy, it made me so mad. And I'm gonna tell you what though. In my bracket, I still got Arizona, and I believe in them.
Yeah,
Arizona is they are a good ball team, top to freaking bottom. You better watch out for them.
Well, you're exactly right.
I'm just glad the parity in basketball has changed. The SEC, Tennessee was and that's another one. I hope Ament don't come back. Go pro, dude. He's not going to be a top 10 pick. There's no way. His attitude sucks. He doesn't have basketball knowledge. Come on, dude. You scored 7 points in an Elite 8 game, and you're supposed to be a top 10 pick? Are you kidding me? They have just, I don't know. But Barnes, I know, something's got to go. Something's got to give somewhere. But let's just go ahead and take our hats off to Illinois, UConn, Michigan. Hey, Michigan looks tough too, but Arizona, man, I'm going to tell you what, Arizona, if what's his name, McCuff or McCaffrey, or if he gets hot, it's over.
Yeah. No, you're
It's
right.
over.
Well, I agree with
Paul,
everything.
Paul, I thank you so much. I love you, brother. Love on you people, and God bless y'all.
Thank you so much, Robert. I appreciate the call. He's right, though. And we've had him on before. He's called before. He's a former basketball coach. I think he did the youth, or he might have did like middle school or high school. He's right. Everybody knows you hold on to the ball and you shoot your foul shots,
Yeah, I
you
agree
go
with
up by
that.
4. You go up by 4. We're not trying to move the ball. You got 10 seconds. Don't let them tie you up or turn it over.
Yeah, I get they could have fouled him earlier. I didn't mind. I like that they at least got him at 10 seconds and not wait till a 3 could go up or something. But yeah.
Either way, we are done for this hour. We are coming back, and we're coming back strong right at the top of the hour. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Red 70s studio line is now open. 850-215-6290. The chaos lives here. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida presents March Madness.
Living up to its name, the Madness. 3, top of the key. Got it.
Catch every upset, every buzzer beater, and every heart-stopping moment of the NCAA tournament.
Right corner, he's going to take the 3, and he hit it again!
Your home for the Big Dance is right here on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
That right there is the explanation point.
Good evening, this is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Monday. A variety of slight fog and partly cloudy skies tonight with a wind around 5 miles per hour coming out of the east-southeast and a low of 66. Tomorrow morning, look for some sun with a temperature near 74. The afternoon and evening, a high around 75 and some sun. Wednesday, hot with a high of 76 and slight fog. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Looking to upgrade your truck? It's Blue Diamond Truck Accessories in Panama City. They sell, service, and install it all. Light kits, bed covers, bumpers, winches, lift kits, and any trailer hitch you can imagine. Blue Diamond Truck Accessories, just west of Frankfort Avenue on 15th Street. Find Blue Diamond Truck Accessories on Facebook or call 850-914-0265. Blue Diamond Truck Accessories, 850-914-0265.
You've been low-key thinking about dropping a podcast. Well, now is the time to start, brah. Sports, politics, finance, science, health, real estate, music, interviews, surfing, conspiracy theories, or alien abductions. Ready to main character your own content? We can make it happen with Turnkey Podcast Productions from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Our local, modern, state-of-the-art multimedia recording studio is now available for booking, starting at just $100 an episode. Take your fandom to the next level. For more information, text the keyword studio to 850-215-6290. Text studio to 850-215-6290. Text studio 215-6290 or jam over to ESPNPC.com. Bruh.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVOQ Port St. Joe. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Lanier in transition, hits the 3, and a sign of life from Knoxville. Plant driving right. Lob from Brazil and a two-hand slam.
6 on the clock. Now with 5. He drives on Maddox. Right elbow with 3. Spins to the foul line. Jumper up and it rattles in at the buzzer.
Don't miss any of this year's action on the road to the Final Four with Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the men's NCAA tournaments.
Listen live exclusively on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida and the ESPN Northwest Florida app.
ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the new Sports Blitz. Call in with your questions, hot takes, and rants at 850-215-6290. The Sports Talk Monster.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
What it do, people? It's the homie Lil Cash. Right now you tuned in with Paul Wilson on the Sports Blitz. 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida, the hottest sports show in the South. Let's go. Cause Lil Cash with another hit with Paul Wilson on the Sports Blitz. Where they talk trash and they talk ish. When it comes to sports, man, they too legit. It's 104.3 ESPN. If you love sports, better chime in. NFL, college, local sports, they got it. NBA, they got it. Sports Blitz, the topic. The show hottest was happening. Better tune in and go watch it. Hey, Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson. If you even tried, you can't stop it. Bone Crusher gon' pop it. No Jeff gon' pop it. Go like, comment, subscribe, and share. Right now.
It is 5 o'clock, and you're tuned in to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here, 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida, your spot. This is so awesome to be able to say it for Atlanta Braves baseball tonight at Truist Park. They're going to be hosting the Oakland Athletics at 6 o'clock right after the show. As much as we don't like saying it, it's still saying it right now.
They're not in Oakland.
They're not in Oakland, but they're still holding the name right now. I just checked just to make sure, and that's exactly what it says.
What should we call them?
The Athletics of Nowhere.
Yeah, it's
how are the Montreal Expos doing? They put on pretty good.
No, they're gone.
Yeah, the Washington Nationals.
They are the
They're
Washington
terrible.
ones.
No, let me tell you something, though, and I'm going to be on site in about a week just to check on it, but I'm going to give you guys a report in a couple of weeks on the progress of the stadium there on the Vegas Strip.
Oh,
right next to the MGM Grand where I will be.
Wow. That's right. So Brian's going to be there. He's going to be calling in live and giving us a live and local.
I'm doing it for the show.
That's
I'm
right.
giving you an on-site report. That's the only reason I'm going to Las Vegas.
Yeah,
the only reason.
He's going for the Sports Blitz.
That's right.
Do you think they should rebrand and not be the Athletics?
I don't know. For me, I like.
How about a color change?
No.
I actually like their colors. I think now there's actually some consternation about it's one of the two. Either they can't use athletics or they can't use A's. I think it's they can't use A's.
Oh.